Penis got me, penis got me moaning. Stick that big D in my ass. Come gang, come shot. Big dick, big come stay. Who's straight? No way. Penis game, check my mood, eh? Squirt, squirt. Penis got me booty up like it rub.
Bravely Default 2. Brave enough to waste your time. Chapter 3 hits like a brick to the face. Backstabbing, cult nonsense, dragons, fairies, and enough whiplash to qualify as a medical condition. It's genuinely shocking in places, and for a moment you think, oh no, this might actually be good. The story becomes a roller coaster thriller that finally wakes up and starts throwing punches. Voice 2, measured but disappointed, and then it keeps going, and going, and going. This is where the game reveals its true form, an aggressively tedious RPG that mistakes repetition for depth and cycles for cleverness. Chapters 1 through 4 awaken the crystals. Chapters 5, 6, and 7 do it again, but sadder and longer and with less payoff. Voice 3 already yelling, why am I collecting the crystals again in Chapter 5? We already did this. I can use specials. What do you want from me? The constant doubling back, revisiting towns, reawakening crystals, retreading narrative ground, feels eerily similar to Tales of Arise, except without that game's momentum or combat speed to soften the blow. Its padding masquerading as structure. Then Chapter 4 happens. You fight the shadow assassin. She escapes. Rage ensues. Alcohol may or may not have been involved. Recording was not an option because YouTube would absolutely nuke the channel from orbit. But the real crime here is narrative blueballing. Why couldn't I finish the shadow assassin with the mommy milkers? Let me have closure. You do the puzzle afterward, and then mommy milkers shows up again. Incredible. Then the game pulls its signature move, psych! You didn't actually beat the bedbag guy. The aftershock reveals that one of your party members' sisters is now the endgame boss. Surprise! Hope you weren't emotionally stable. As I've gotten older, my love for turn-based RPGs has faded in favor of action RPGs. Bravely Default 2 didn't reinvent the genre, but it did remind me why I used to love it, sometimes. The job system is still compelling. Customizing characters, leveling jobs, mixing abilities, that part scratches a very specific itch. On PC, the game looks gorgeous. Environments are lush and colorful, lighting is excellent, and performance is silky smooth. The character models, less impressive. But the environmental eye candy carries hard. And yes, I'm glad I didn't play this on Switch or 3DS. Now let's talk endings, because boy does this game want you to see them. First ending, bad. Finish Chapter 5, beat Edna, roll credits. Second ending, also bad. Reload, leave instead of fighting, go to the fairy village, fight Nexus. True ending, get all 24 jobs, 21 story, 3 secret, reload again, find new paths, fight the final boss again in a new endgame scenario. Prologue ending, missable. Beat Adam in the prologue and end the game immediately. That's right, you can end the game before it starts. Honestly, tempting. There's also a glitch that randomly removes your clothes depending on job changes. It's annoying, immersion breaking, and makes serious scenes look like cosplay malfunctions. I saw both bad endings. I am not jumping through hoops for the true ending, especially not after learning I'd have to beat a boss locked behind a card game. No, absolutely not. The card game is awful. The best part? You are required to play it to unlock a job needed for the real ending. RNG-based wins, lose, and it's a game over, straight back to the title screen. Infuriating doesn't even begin to describe it. At this point, the story starts falling apart hard after Musa. The core issue? The game can't decide whether the player exists in the narrative or not. The first ending implies reloading the save is what gives the party a vision, until the book suddenly shows the future for no reason, with zero consequences. The second ending immediately breaks that rule. The characters don't question it. They don't try again. They don't react. Then the Nexus is saved over. Cool idea. Totally unexplored. Everyone just shrugs and moves on. If the player isn't a fixture, none of this works. And if the player is a fixture, the game refuses to acknowledge it. Elvis and Adele's character growth? Retconned. Gone. Meaningless. I love this game, but it absolutely collapses under its own ambition. The writers chased 5 ideas and caught none of them. Locations are visually varied and interesting, but dungeon design is dreadful. Everything feels like procedurally generated corridors with a theme slapped on. Budget limitations show. Nothing memorable, nothing clever. The job system is the most intriguing part of the game. Deep customization, synergy, experimentation. But the story is lackluster. Characters are bland. Amnesia plots appear out of nowhere. Boss design is atrocious. Random counter percentages that punish you for bringing the wrong job. That's not skill-based gameplay. That's trial and error nonsense. Grinding is mandatory. Overworld battles are long. Side quests are fetch quests stretched into endurance tests. Walk here, talk, walk back, talk, walk again, talk again. This game found a way to make fetch quests worse than usual. Hell no, I don't recommend this game. 4 out of 10. Having to do random side quests, especially that card game, just to see the real ending is unacceptable. And the payoff, a nothing burger ending that doesn't justify the suffering. That said, I didn't mind the equipment system. Weirdly, it scratched that lizard brain RPG itch of gearing up in new towns. And yes, like most RPGs, it starts slow, but the story did enough heavy lifting early on to keep me going. Still, it's grindy, it's boring, it lacks charm, and originality is in short supply. 3 endings just to see teammates die or survive? Honestly, I'd rather pick the ending where the fairies die and lose a teammate. Not everyone deserves a happy ending. And that feels more honest. 5 good points. 1, deep and flexible job system. 2, gorgeous environments on PC. 3, early chapters have strong narrative hooks. 4, equipment progression is oddly satisfying. 5, turn-based combat can shine in boss fights sometimes. 5 bad points. 1, mandatory grinding and poor pacing. 2, RNG-based boss and card game nonsense. Story collapses after Musa 4. Dungeon and quest design are atrocious. 5, true ending locked behind misery, not mastery. Bonus skit the rant voice. 3, this game made me play a card game to save the world. Voice. Ah yes, nothing says epic fantasy like losing your save file because a fairy beat you at Uno. Voice 3, I lost and it game overed me. Of course it did. Consequences for thee, not for the story. 4 out of 10. I'm done.